Hey man.
Hey man.
So Don, how's lockdown treating you so
I
far?
feel like every day's been the same for like the past few weeks.
Yeah,
Sort of like
yeah, feels
it's like the Truman Show, but
sure,
yeah,
sure.
like every day's the same. Wait,
No,
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 that's the wrong show. Yeah,
it's Groundhog Day.
yeah, Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, yeah. Where like every day
Yeah.
just molds into
Yeah.
one, and you can't like really differentiate the
Yeah.
days. Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's like
Tell me
every
about
day's the
it.
same, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Funny you mentioned the Truman Show
yeah,
though, because it has a decent amount to do with what we're talking about
yeah,
this episode.
yeah,
The experience machine, right? You told me about it the other day, and it was fascinating to actually.
yeah. Maybe that's why I got mixed up because
Yeah,
like I have all these
yeah,
ideas in my head and just like they're both like kind
yeah.
of oldish
Because the
movies,
Truman,
like kind of back in the day movies,
mm,
but still kind of new. Like yeah,
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 no, the Truman Show
yeah,
does have a lot to do with the concept of the experience machine,
yeah,
which we're going to be talking about.
yeah,
But I feel like you guys don't really know what we're talking about, the experience machine. It's not that common, but there's this video you sent me, which really, I guess, encapsulate the general ideas, which we'll
yeah,
give it a quick little watch, the highlights.
yeah. Sweet.
Imagine if you could plug your brain into a machine that would bring you ultimate pleasure for the rest of your life. If you were given the choice to sign up for that kind of existence, would you? That's the question philosopher Robert Nozick posed through a thought experiment he called the experience machine. The experiment asks us to consider a world in which scientists have developed a machine that would simulate real life while guaranteeing experiences of only pleasure and never pain. The catch? You have to permanently leave reality behind. But you'll hardly know the difference. Your experiences will be indistinguishable from reality. Life's natural ups and downs will just be replaced with an endless series of ups. Sounds great, right?
Yeah, right. So that basically generalizes what the experience machine is. It's very interesting. We did talk about it a little before, and I do know that. Well, what are your thoughts? Would you be hooked up to the experience machine if you could?
I'm kind of in the middle ground to be honest, but just for the sake of this argument, I can't it's going to be boring if I just say I don't know the
Hey,
answer. So
no, that wasn't your answer. You weren't in the middle ground before. You wanted to be hooked
yeah,
up before, but I
yeah,
feel
but
like we did talk about it a little before.
yeah, if I had
I
to,
feel like
if I had an absolute choice, I'd probably be hooked up to the experience machine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah,
it's interesting. Or like not if you had to, like if you could with like no, side effects
consequences.
or something, like
Yeah,
you would.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I wouldn't.
yeah,
It's we have a good basis for a little debate here, but
yeah,
I would not. And there's a lot of reasons behind it, but well, you first. Why would you want to be hooked up?
yeah.
What
Well,
is what's your thoughts?
yeah. But for the first thing, so we're not really sure that if life itself is an illusion, right? Because like many people argue that life could be an illusion.
Right? Are
Yeah,
we living in the Matrix?
yeah. So
That
yeah,
age-old question.
yeah. Even
Yeah.
I watched this short clip about Elon Musk. He's like, or with all this technology increasing really rapidly, there's a high
Mm.
possibility that we could be in a simulation. So we're not for sure if the life we're living right now could be an illusion, right? So
Right.
if we go into another illusion using the experience machine, we're just gonna be living in an illusion inside
Well,
another illusion. So it wouldn't be much different from how we are living right now. If you assume
yeah,
that we are
I
living
see.
in an illusion,
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
But here's the thing.
yeah,
So you're going off the basis that you would not know that you're in the experience machine, like whatsoever. Like
right,
you would just think it's normal. You wouldn't have the conscious knowledge of being in
yeah.
the experience machine, right? Here's the
Prob-
thing.
but
And
I think you'll be
it's
too happy to like even think about it. Like you'll be too happy, you wouldn't care.
yeah. No.
Yeah, yeah,
Here's the thing. It's a good idea, but like looking at a completely like evolutionary biological perspective,
yeah,
it is I don't think it's possible for us to actually experience the experience machine in
yeah,
a in a normal way. I feel like,
Yep.
because the way we've been, and that's one of the reasons I wouldn't do it either. I would like
Yep.
the basis of happiness, right? That's all. It's all just like neural signals in your brain releasing like serotonin, dopamine, all that.
Yeah.
The basis
Like chemical
of
reactions
happiness
stuff,
is to chemical reactions. The basis for happiness is to make you, survive. Is to make you survive, breed. Just survival. It's a survival instinct. Happiness. Like if you look at the very base levels, if you eat, you get happy, right?
I think a simple way to put it is
food,
called the reward system.
No, it's a reward system. You get rewarded for doing things that helps you survive and provide shit for your offspring and just keep the human race going forward. And because of that, happiness is a very limited and dependent system. Right. It's dependent
on the environment,
what you do and no, it's dependent. Yeah, it's dependent on the environment and what you do. I feel like happiness, just for the sake of happiness in itself, it's not sustainable, right? And say that you were in the experience machine, but you didn't know you were in the experience machine. It was just an illusion. I feel like biologically, you wouldn't you'd be happy all the time, but first of all, that happiness wouldn't mean anything. And that's the main reason I wouldn't want to be hooked up, is that happiness wouldn't mean anything if you hadn't worked for it at all, or if you hadn't earned it, deserved it, or anything. It's just a fake scenario that with fake things, or fake feelings, right? So I feel like you would subconsciously, in some level, you'd know that something is wrong, or something is not it's not true, because if we're looking at biological rules, you'd know that you haven't done anything to achieve this happiness. It's just coming at you for no reason whatsoever. But if we take that away, if you say that you won't think about that, then that is a very different question. That means that you can experience happiness without any drawbacks, which is.
But can I just say something really quickly?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because you know how you said a happiness is dependent on the survival, and the way we experience happiness is directly linked to how we survive. So let's say we find food, we're happy. We find shelter, we're going to be happy. But that's because that's the way our world in this scope, our actual world works. But then if we're hooked up to the experience machine, maybe the laws of physics could be different, the laws of biology could be different. So being happy all the time wouldn't have any consequences at all. So I think that's one thing we need to mainly consider.
I see, and that was where I was going at. If the laws of biology and how our brain works now, if it's altered in the experience machine, that's a very different equation, because then it's it changes everything, right? Or the main argument I'm making right now, which it's maybe then it'd be more tempting, right? But and you said that if this world is an illusion, what's the point? If what's the
jumping into another illusion.
What's the harm in going to another illusion? But the thing is, the thing is, you don't know this is an illusion, right?
I don't know, but I'm just saying it's a possibility
that this is an illusion. It's a possibility, right? And looking at where I'm right now, in this world right now here, logically, I know this is not an illusion, right? As far as I know, right? But right now, I know that the experience machine would be an illusion. So I would. At this state right now, I'd be that's fake. I know that's fake. Why would I want to subject myself to something that's completely fake? And so right now, in this state of mind, I would say no. I would say no. Fuck that. I wouldn't want to go into the experience machine, because I knew it would be an illusion. But I feel it would change if once I'm inside the machine, and in the happy state, I feel then I'd be if I didn't know it was an illusion, my decisions and if you ask me then would I want to be hooked out or something, I feel that would be a very different basis.
But how you said if I jump into the experience machine, you said I wouldn't know that it's not an illusion. So I feel you kind of give off like dissatisfied vibes when you said that. So, you know how you said if you put yourself into the experience machine, you said you would know it's an illusion. So, you'll be you kind of gave off like a dissatisfied feeling.
Like, what do you mean? I wouldn't know it's an illusion, or
you would know. You would know it's an illusion. So were you saying it in a kind of dissatisfying manner, or because what I'm trying to say is if you're in the experience machine, you'll be too happy to care even about that stuff. Like you'll be so happy you wouldn't care if you're in an illusion or not. So I think that's one thing you need to consider. It's really hard to imagine, because it's like so surreal, and it's like our brains can't even comprehend it. Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask. So
yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Another thing is with happiness, right?
Yeah.
Happiness is so dependent on what you do and stuff. I feel like happiness would be meaningless if you didn't have to work for it at all. Like maybe in the experience machine world, you would be fine with it. You'd be happy. You wouldn't even think about like, oh, I didn't do anything to become happy. But I feel like the reason being happy because of something, makes you so happy internally is because you worked for it. It's because you experienced non-happiness, and because you worked for it, and because of all the emotion that leads up to it, that like creates not just like like dopamine releases or anything. It creates like a whole memory that leads to the happiness. You know what I mean? Like for example, if you got into a relationship with someone you really liked, it's not like just happy and that's it. You have to remember, like you're remembering the struggle before that, and like all the memories leading up to that.
Yeah, like it's like the journey,
and, like the downs and ups. Yeah. Right, yeah, the downs and like highs and lows, that all creates to like a more accomplished happiness feeling. I feel like that's something you would not get in the experience machine because you'd never have the downs. So like and like biologically, right? It's ingrained into our minds to like feel the downs and lows, which that's why it's so hard to comprehend as well.
Yeah.
And I feel
what if you just swap
like
out
that?
What? Okay, just say something quickly.
Yeah.
What if we just swap out the word happiness with pleasure? Then everything else would change, wouldn't it? Or just like completely break what you just said before.
Okay, here's another thing.
Yeah.
If you were in the experience machine with pleasure, right? Just pleasure, constant pleasure.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be doing anything in the life. You know that. You wouldn't be doing anything. If it was just released, you'd be like lying on your bed or whatever, just kind of enjoying everything, because you wouldn't have to. Like that's the thing. That's like the reason we get pleasure and happiness is because we do things that like make our lives better in whatever way. You get a good job, you get a lot of money. It makes your life actively better, and it makes you happy. But if you didn't need to do things to make you happy, you wouldn't have to do anything. You would just enjoy being happy and pleasurable in that pleasurable state. Which brings me to heroin use. Heroin is a hell of a drug, but all addicts, when they get their hands, like they're in a good place in their lives, they have a good job, good family, good amount of money, but without fail, once they get addicted, it's so addictive, right? It's the most addictive thing you could find on this planet. You get a little bit of it, and you would not want to like do anything else. That's like, I feel like heroin is a really good parallel to the experience machine.
Right.
Because once you get it right, everyone without fail they do not do anything but just lie and enjoy it, and they will spiral down until they sell everything. They don't eat. How every heroin user you see, they're like emaciated, they're so skinny, like because they don't want to eat, because they don't get pleasure from that. They just get pleasure from chemical releases that's artificial, and they don't care about living in a nice house. They don't care about money, jobs, food, family, friends, anything, because they get artificial pleasure in them. So I feel like if you're in the experience machine, the way our mind works now, you wouldn't want to do anything. And I'm saying, is that worth it? Like, is it worth just endless pleasure to be a blob? What are your thoughts?
But then there's one thing to consider, because in the real world, if drugs give you pleasure, but in the real world, there's very bad real life consequences that you have to face after, no matter what you do, right? But then in the experience machine, you theoretically created a world where there'll be no consequences at all, because everyone would be happy and be have pleasure. So, do you get what I mean? So you can't directly compare it.
Thing is, but that's with what you said. That's considering that the whole way our mind has worked for like hundreds of thousands of years. It changes. It changes completely to accommodate the experience machine. Because if we go in it right now, there's been evidence to like with heroin, there isn't real life consequences in terms of like side effects as much. It's more consequences as in what it makes you do. It's all the side effects with the heroin stuff is basically, it's not unhealthy for you in like the chemical sense. It's unhealthy for you because of what it makes you do, which is nothing. It makes you like just want to lie there and keep on shooting it up and not do anything else. So if we just go off like how we've worked in the real world right now, if you go into the experience machine, the same mindset biology, I feel like it would give us very little motivation to actually go get a job, go out and like do a lot of things if you're experiencing constant pleasure without having to earn it. But if our whole mindset and biology changes, I feel like that would be a different argument, which is would you want your whole biology to change just to fit that and your whole like human instincts?
Well, not only your whole biology would change, but everything you know about life would change technically if you get hooked up to the machine. And I think the one reason that's stopping you from going to the machine is like loss of meaning, because you're right that happiness comes from like meaning. So like meaning into working hard for success, meaning into even back in the old caveman days, hunting, gathering, like because you did that, it has meaning in it that gives you happiness. But then if you're in the experience machine, it wouldn't matter if there's meaning at all. You would still be happy or you would gain pleasure, but there would be absolutely no meaning. And it doesn't matter if there's a meaning or not. But then you're saying that meaning does matter in this world. But then I think that if you get hooked up to the machine, it doesn't matter if there's a meaning or not to the pleasure. So what do you think about that? Do you kind of understand?
No, that makes perfect sense. But that's the thing. That's why I don't want to do it, because I don't want to leave. If you said it was true, like you don't need meaning, you'd just be happy. Not only do you not need meaning, or not only will you not get meaning, you'll not get a sense of self in the same sense you have now. You'll lose your sense of meaning and you'll lose your sense of identity, because once you go there, you wouldn't have an identity. And I'm asking you, are you ready to leave yourself as you know behind? Because if your biology and instincts and brain chemistry changes that much, you're gonna be a different person, right? You're gonna be a completely different person. And I'm saying, would you want? Because it's either one or the other. It's either you're gonna stay as you are biologically, like your human biology is gonna stay, and you go into the experience machine where you keep your sense of self, but you get all the drawbacks that comes with not having meaning and like not wanting to do anything and like being a blob, or you change your biology so much that you're not even the same person anymore. So I guess my question to you, Don, is: are you ready to leave your identity, personal identity that you've come to know behind in favor for the experience machine?
Bro, you just sounded like Morpheus right there. Like red pill, blue pill. So which path would you go down the rabbit hole? Yeah.
Which one? Anyways,
would I leave my own identity behind? Sounds really scary. It's almost like asking, would you be reborn as a new person? It's like basically dying and rebirth. So I don't think I'm ready yet, because I'm still 18 and I've got much to go, hopefully.
Right.
Right.
It's also like the scenarios where like where you upload your like the sci-fi ones where you upload your consciousness into a cloud or something and you're immortal, like that Black Mirror episode. It's like, how do you know if it's really you or if it's just the recreated version of you that's just completely different to the one that you are right now?
Yeah. But didn't the TED video said everything like in your life is going to be the same?
Yeah,
I think that's what the TED video said. So, what do you want to assume?
Okay.
Do we want to assume that I'm still the same
Right.
person, or
Okay, for this one, we'll assume that you're still the same, you're not dying, right? But like, we'll
Yeah.
have to assume that your life, like your identity is going to be different, because logically it doesn't make sense. It's either your identity is going to be different, right? You're going to be a new person, or you're not going to have the motivation to do things because it doesn't work. You're not going to have the motivations to do things because if you're not a completely different, if your biology isn't rewired and like wired differently, you're just gonna have the same, like you're gonna have the same instinctive urges as every human, and you're gonna do things that makes you happy. But if you have the same urges, like you're not gonna do anything because you're already happy. Like drug users, like you're just gonna want to enjoy the pleasure because we have a real life example of drug users. Like they don't care about anything but the pleasure they feel. But if we want to say that everything's going to be the same, then you're going to have to be a new person, like to a certain level, because like a new identity, because
something has to change.
You're going to be rewired internally. So are you ready?
Right. So back to the question.
You be willing to?
Am I willing to let myself go?
Or let yourself as you currently know yourself.
I mean, I like myself the way I am now. Like, do you like myself?
You'd be the only one.
I'm the only one. Okay. Enough of this roasting competition. So, that's a really hard question. I actually haven't thought about letting myself go. It's like I've only thought about just jumping into the world without, all the processes of me being prepared to go into this happiness machine. It sounds really scary, like going to the happiness machine. I thought it would just be a quick and easy experience, like jumping into a video game.
If you think about it, it's like it's not that simple, is it?
Yeah. Actually, I don't want to like change my argument. Like right now, I'll probably just live in the normal world, and maybe when I get like older, like I don't know, when I'm ready to retire, I'll probably jump into the experience machine.
No, that does make sense.
Yeah. How about you? Would you? But you already said that you won't.
I wouldn't, and I still wouldn't. Maybe in the retirement thing, I still wouldn't, because what's the point of working your whole life, right? What's the point of working your whole life to get to a place where you can retire, be comfortable, be happy?
Yeah.
If you don't even need it.
Yeah.
If you're just going to be in an experience machine, then you can, there's no point.
Right.
Because retirement's meant to be, the part where you can be pleasure, can be happy and carefree.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Also, another thing that's really interesting to think about is once you go into the experience machine, you cannot come back.
Yeah, exactly. I had that in my mind.
That's
that's why it's scary. Like if I could like jump in and jump back, like I would definitely try it out. But then the permanent consequences, you can't jump back.
No. Yeah. No.
That's why it's so scary to think about. Yeah.
If you could jump back in, jump out, do not do that.
Yeah.
You never do that, because
the whole argument is just like.
Life would not be the same if you jump in, jump back out. If you can if you can experience like genuine, like what's the word, unconditional happiness. If you can experience that, and you come back to real life, you will not, like, you won't be able to function as you have been, because you'll know like so much. It's like the hardcore drug users, right? Once they have had one hit, they realize how pointless doing everything else, like minor things, for happiness is. Once they can just like like take it, and they're like, it's there. It's like 10 times as pleasurable, and it's like 50 times less work. They would not they can't function normally as much as they have before the experience. It's like it shifts your whole mindset. So, I would not, at all.
You would not at all.
No.
This is actually, it's really hard. I feel like these questions, there's no right answer or like wrong answer.
Yeah, pretty much. So, going back to let's just replay the cheating part on the TED video.
Consider this scenario. Betsy and Xander are in a loving, committed relationship. Betsy is head over heels and has never felt happier. However, unbeknownst to Betsy, Xander has been romancing her sister Angelica. with love letters and secret rendezvous for the duration of their relationship. If Betsy found out, it would destroy her relationships with both Xander and Angelica, and the experience would be so traumatic she would never love again. Since Betsy is in blissful ignorance about Xander's infidelity, hedonists would say she's better off remaining in the dark and maintaining her high level of net pleasure. As long as Betsy never finds out about the relationship, her life is guaranteed to go on as happily as it is right now. So is there value in Betsy knowing the truth of her situation?
So yeah, that's really interesting. The other day I was talking to you and you did say that if something like that happened to you in real life, I was like, would you want to be, in blissful ignorance, or would you want to know about the truth? And you did say you would want to know about the truth, but you also said, you would want to not live in blissful ignorance. You'd rather know about the truth because even though it's, it makes you unhappy and stuff. It makes you unhappy, but it directly contradicts you wanting to be hooked up to the experience machine, because it's the same predicament.
For this argument, let's just say I'll be happy forever and I don't know that I've been cheated on until I die, right? So let's just assume that. So but I think searching for the truth would be a better option, because let's say you found out the truth, right? But then your life, happiness would plummet, all the way down to 0 out of 10. Yeah. Let's say if you put a happiness scale out of 10, but then there's a high potential for you to slowly go back up and reach, a good amount of happiness or pleasure.
Right. So
I feel with that, you can fix your consequences of your happiness plummeting down to find the truth, but for the experience machine, it's kind of different, because everything's it's permanent, and it's so hard to grasp what it would feel like to be happy for every second of your life.
Yeah,
it'll be so weird to think about.
So in real life, I do understand. So you're saying say you're with the person, right? Two different realities. You're with the person here, and as you develop the relationship, your happiness goes up. But then in this reality, you find out that they cheat on you, right? So your happiness goes completely back down, right? Yeah. But then you live in blissful ignorance in this one, and your happiness goes up. You have kids, you get married, you get you get a house together and all that. And then there's a potential you find out that they were cheating on you the whole time with your sister. At that point, at that point, the plummet's going to be much worse than you plummeted in here, and it's going to be much down, and you're going to find a harder time to get back up. You're older, you'll have a harder time trusting and all that. But if you found out in the beginning stage of the relationship, you might go back down for the moment, but you haven't invested as much. There's less potential for bad things, for unhappiness, and you can slowly build that back up much easier than in the second reality. So it kind of does make sense. It's interesting.
Right. How about you? Would you find out?
Yeah.
Would you find out the truth?
Yeah.
How come?
Truth, because so say that I would never find out blissful ignorance till the day I die. You've been living a lie, right? And say you were actually being cheated on, but you had no idea. I feel like with that, you wouldn't really change your mindset, because you wouldn't know. But right now, the fact that you know that there's a possibility of you knowing, if we're talking about now, I feel you'd want to know, because you'd want to be living a lie. You wouldn't want to be lied upon, and all the things that comes with the truth. It's just there's a more potential for you to actually have a meaningful relationship instead of a fake, one built off faulty foundations. So I feel we've had a pretty good discussion on pros and cons of the experience machine. Now I want to ask you final thoughts. Would you still be willing to be hooked up to the experience machine, or would you rather live in the real life? And here's the thing though, if you really live in the real life, it's not you're going to be depressed. I mean, you might be, but nah, but it's not you are guaranteed to be depressed. You can still be happy from a lot of things. You can build your life up. You can get happiness from a lot of things. But so keep that in mind. Would you rather go into the experience machine or stay in reality?
But if I bend your question right now, no. But then sometime in the future, I think it will be a pretty cool experience. like once in a lifetime experience, but probably not now. So if I kind of bend the question, if I had to do it now, no. But then if I could do it anytime in the future, like when I'm much older, I have nothing else to do, like why not just give it a shot, right? And
and also I feel like the answer to the question also depends a lot on the person's mindset and where they are in their life. If you're you know, if you're completely down in the dumps, depressed, you have nothing good going on in your life, why wouldn't you want to be hooked up? But if you're like happy with your life, content, then like, you know, the answer changes with how happy you are in your life. So I feel like the more content you are, the less you would want to experience that.
But then you're saying you would never do it, no matter what your circumstances.
No, I would never. No.
What if you hit like
even if
absolute rock bottom? Like absolute rock bottom. Still no.
Still no. Right. Because if you, there's a kind of a romanticism to hitting rock bottom and kind of building your life back up, and it's a good experience to just do that. And once you do that and say you're happy later on, you're not just happy, you're a myriad of different emotions and feelings and memories that make yourself you, right? Make yourself you and happy. That's another thing with the identity. If you have the highs and lows, it builds your identity. If you only have the highs, it's just like it's not a realistic version of you. So no matter how like down in the dumps, I have enough faith in myself to build myself back up. So
respectable,
it'll still be a no.
But for me, I'm just saying, like, the only reason I would try is like, why not? You know, just like, I don't really have like that much deep meaning into why I would jump in the experience machine. It's just like, you know, why not give it a try? You know, but it's like,
no, that's fair.
With
me,
it's like a fun thought experiment.
Even if I give, if it's crazy thought experiment. But if you do, if I were to, you know, give it a try, like you said, why not? It comes back to, once you go in, you can't go back to the same state you were in before, because you know the other side, you would have a lot of loss in meaning once you can experience unconditional happiness. So I mean, for me it would still be a no, but you know, yours is a respectable answer too. I feel like it would be a very interesting experience.
I think that was the first compliment of the podcast, which is
savor them, because you will not get many.
Wow. Anyways, let's wrap things up, you know.
So that's where we're at. Now lockdown's still going on. Got any you know, you got any aspirations, goals you wanna get done? Because this new Sydney, New South Wales Delta variant is just going through the roof, and we're still in the midst of lockdown, which you know, it's the second one in the past 2 years. And so give us a little update on your goals, because you're on like holiday right now. Anything? My
goals, probably just, you know, keep this YouTube thing going. I think it's pretty fun. It's like a good side project.
It's just fun passing time. I feel like
I should go exercise, because with this lockdown, like, I can't be bothered to, you know, just walk out the door. So maybe just go out, even go out and go for a run. Like, I think it's a good goal.
It's good. I've been wanting to read more, which is you know, I think you said that too. You've been reading as well, and you want to read more. Just got to get the motivation.
It's like with this lockdown, it's like, if I feel like we're frozen in time, you know. That's where
and like traveling as well. You want to go traveling to many places. Me too. I'd never been into traveling before, but like now I feel like we're at a stage of our lives where it would be fun to travel, but no, COVID strikes again. But anyways, good little chat. So I'll see you in the next one. Alright,
see you.
Alright, bye man.
See you, man.